All right, next up from the Masters of Horror franchise, which I didn't even mention that it's my birthday. Haha, happy birthday to me. It was 6 minutes ago. Never mind, it's not my birthday anymore. So just completely disregard that. It's no longer my birthday. My birthday was March 16th. Some of you wished me a happy birthday on Instagram. A lot of you did it on Facebook, and some of you did it in person. Okay, none of you. Nobody who fucking knows me in person watches my channel, and that's a fact. Well, maybe one. Maybe. So now, this one is from Stuart Gordon, who knows H.P. Lovecraft fairly well from covering Reanimator, From Beyond, and Dagon, however the hell you say that name of that. Did he do any other H.P. Lovecraft stories? Those are the three films I'm aware of, and yes, I've seen all three of them. I covered Reanimator and From Beyond, but I don't think I ever covered Dagon, however the fuck you say that. But this one, yes, H.P. Lovecraft's Dream in the Witch House. And this college student is renting this shithole apartment. And he is working on the string theory about, dimensions and such. And whilst he's in there, he is being terrorized by a rat and a witch. And the rat has a human face, which is really unsettling when you see it. The building in which he moves into is 300 years old. The furniture inside is dilapidated and completely just non-functional, just trash. Like, something you'd find in a condemned house after it's been condemned for 20 years. I mean, this shit is horrendous. And the landlord brings him in and he's like, that's coming out of your deposit if you fucking hurt any furniture in here. How could I possibly? I could take a sledgehammer to all of this shit and it would look better somehow. I laughed when I heard that. I was like, look around. Are you kidding me? What? Like, you could tell if I damaged anything in this shithole. But yeah, so he ends up getting this like love interest in the girl next door who's a single mother, and he wants to help her out. He gives her a $50 bill to try to get her some more time on rent. So what does that even mean? Does that mean the rent there is like $200 a month? Or is it like pretty close to that? Jesus Christ, I want to find a place. I don't want to find a place that's this shitty. Would I live in a place this shitty for $200 a month? No. No. Especially when you got rats running around and such like this one does. Whew. Rats with faces and witches in the walls, along with like 70 dead babies dating all the way back like 300 years. Holy fuck. Yeah, I'm good. I can pay, 10 times that and get a place without all of that going on inside of it. I like how the girl's like immediately like, no, I can't borrow $50 from you. And then within 24 hours, she's like, here, watch my kid. Here, I'm going to go do a job interview. And it's like, what was your plan exactly if I didn't show up in this opportune moment that you need me to watch your kid as you're walking out the fucking door? Like, where was your plan? What was happening here? Were you taking the kid with you and then you saw me and dumped him on me because I gave you $50 the night before? Like, it's funny how fast she goes from not trusting to straight up like, here's my kid. And this ends up costing her huge because it's not his fault per se, but the kid does end up dying. The kid dies brutally too, which is pretty wild. That actually kind of caught me off guard, was that the kid was fucking bled out. That's wild. Baby, like a full on baby. Like this thing was 6 months old or less. So really, really wild. Lot of tits and ass in this, which is great. A lot of tits and ass in this series, now that I've watched a bunch with the Jennifer Dance of the Dead or whatever. There's a lot of nudity in this series, so A plus on that. The guy puts flour around his bed to see if he's like sleepwalking. Much like Paranormal Activity, except for in Paranormal Activity, they're not trying to see if they're sleepwalking. They want to see if Toby, the demon, is Toby. Where the fuck did that come from? Must be based on some kind of a demon within it. Probably is. Now I need to rewatch that whole series. Ever look that demon up and actually find that it's like a shortened version of? Damn, if they do, it's completely slipping my mind. I know it's little Katie, or no, it's little Christy that calls him Toby. I don't know. Anyways, we're not fucking here to talk about Paranormal Activity. And then he's like making out with his babe in his room, and then it turns into some old rotting woman like in The Shining. Of course, I like that. We got the Necronomicon in here, so good name drop there on the Necronomicon. Which he just like wakes up in a library and he's reading it, and this chick comes in and she's like, "How did you get the Necronomicon?" It's like, why the fuck do you have the Necronomicon? That's the real question here, okay? Let me turn that question around on you. And then he finds in the book there's a depiction of baby sacrifice, and you're thinking, oh, that'll never happen. That never actually takes place. How many movies actually straight up sacrifice the baby, the main baby of the movie? How many off the top of your head can you think of? I can think of maybe, I don't know, one or two, but very few. This just does not happen. So you just never think you're going to see it. Then he gets a pentagram. I put pentagon. I wrote Pentagon. Yes, she put a pentagon on his back, and then someone flew a plane into it. Yeah, I don't. Pentagon. But she scratches a pentagram, which, man, I've had a few girls try to do this to me. Yeah, that's not pleasurable. Okay? The whole, like, back scratching with the thick nails, and they go in and they fucking. That doesn't feel good. I'm not into it. I'm not into it. Anybody else? Any other guy with me on that? Like, when a girl does that to you, and you're just like, this is supposed to be a pleasurable experience. What you're doing is fucking agony. So please knock it off. Some dudes like it, but sometimes they'll leave giant marks, or even sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes just fucking draw blood. That's not fun. That's not pleasurable. So I don't know what the hell that is. It's for them, I guess, but at the same time, I don't want to fucking hurt you when I'm enjoying myself. Like, oh, I'm just enjoying myself. Oh, okay. So, when I come, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm just enjoying myself. Anyway, back to the Pentagon. Yeah. Okay. Okay. While I have sympathy that she lost her baby, yes, 100%. The fact that this chick didn't call the police after this guy came in and was talking about killing her baby, I don't know what to say about this. Like, when someone came and knocked at his door, I thought for sure it had to be the police, not the fucking crazy old man who's killed multiple babies downstairs. No. There's no way it could be that guy. It has to be the police. If some dude came into your house who you barely knew, who the only interaction you've had with this guy is in the 24 hours that you've known him, is that you left your baby with him because you thought you might be able to trust him, and when you came home, he was locked out of the room that your baby was in. Your baby was screaming and crying. You let him in, and he was acting all feverish and frantic. Basically confirming the fact that he was not in that room and your baby was left unattended. So that's your interactions with this guy. Yeah, he gave you a 50 spot before. Whatever. Let's forget about that, because that doesn't really apply here because of his current actions. And then his next actions is to run in a room and say that they're making me try to kill your baby. Instantaneously, you're calling the police, you're grabbing that kid, and you're going wherever the fuck he is in. I don't care if it's a homeless shelter, a battered woman shelter, the fucking streets. Anything is better than being around a guy who's going to kill your fucking kid. So the fact that she stays and doesn't call the police after what he says is outrageous and completely unbelievable. What kind of mother wouldn't call the police instantaneously? Unless she like wanted to get rid of the kid and she was like, oh no, don't hurt my baby. But it didn't seem like that. So the fact she doesn't call it is outrageous. It's fucking idiotic to me. This is only $10 on Amazon, by the way. $10 for the entire season. Case isn't that great. Like, this fucking thing keeps falling out, but looks decent. I mean, it's fine for $10 for the whole season, but season 2 is nowhere to be found as usual. You fucking don't sell that thing, and it makes no sense. Thank God I do have access to the damn season, but how annoying. How annoying. All right. And then, I like, yeah, he resists killing a baby, and then he fucking punches this witch's eyes out with his thumbs. I always like some thumb eye push kills in film. I always think that's gnarly. Imagine having your eyeballs pushed till they fucking like popped. Oh my god, there are few things that sound more horrible than that. And one of those is watching Death House. Just, you know, FYI. And the rat gnawing on the baby's neck is wild. And then the next time we see it, the baby has completely bled out because this rat has like severed its fucking artery. That's wild, man. You just never see such a thing. And a television series, that's craziness. But this baby is bled out dead. And then he ends up in a mental institution. No one believes him, but then they have all sorts of evidence corroborating his story. And of course the detective don't want to hear it. He's like, oh bullshit, man, we ain't gonna provide no evidence that's gonna exonerate this prick. And yeah, the cops, like, even though he has that evidence, he's like, they're never gonna believe you. You know, and it's like, this guy clearly does not read Sherlock Holmes, okay? But yeah, and then they find out that, and then when they go into his cell, a rat is eating its way out from inside of him and eats its way out of his body till he's dead. And it runs off, and I think the doctor even sees that the thing has a human face. So she's fucking in a mental institution now. She ain't making it out of there. You're gonna have the person in charge of the nut house admitted to the nut house after you saw something like that. And then the old dude hangs himself. I'm assuming he could never leave because he was, you know, a victim and a slave to that chick. But wasn't she dead at that point? Or does the evil endure? I mean, the rat lives on, and I don't know. But overall, I quite liked this. I thought the ending was really what sold it for me because it's so dark. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, a little bit of CG and stuff on the special effects. Almost feels Langoliers-y when they're like flying into the rift or something. Yeah, all that stuff is kind of silly and dated, but overall, I liked the story, and I liked how dark it went, and I liked that, you know, at the end, people were actually believing his story as opposed to being like, he's a crazy person, the end. Like, I like that people are like, I don't know, maybe he's right. Maybe it is. And one guy's like, nah. And then they see something that basically confirms that he was right. So I dug that. I liked this episode. So good job on Stuart Gordon there. And anytime I hear the name Gordon, I always have to think of two things. Number one, Gordon from Friday the 13th Part 4, who throws himself out a window to get away from Jason and lives. Okay, I'm very much in the Gordon Lives camp, which is what the title of the 6th movie should have been. And then the other Gordon, I guess Dr. Gordon as well, from the Saw franchise would be another Gordon I would think of. But the most prominent one for me, easily, is Gordon from Session 9 and those words in it. Do it, Gordon! Anytime I hear Gordon, instantly in my head, it's like, do it, Gordon! I love it. Anyway, so let's move on.